Hey everyone, Will the Greatest here, and it's time to start this retrospective off with the 1999 original American Pie, directed by Paul and Chris Weitz, the brothers famous for other films like Ants, Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and About a Boy. It was written by Adam Hers, who did American Pie 1, American Pie 2, American Pie 3, The Wedding, and producing American Reunion, aka Pie 4 for Whores. Fun fact about the movie, apparently Bill Murray was considered to play the role of Noah Levenstein, Jim's dad, before Eugene Levy was cast, which would have resulted in this movie just instantly achieving gold status. Our movie opens with some steamy mood-setting music as we get some sensual moans and the visual stimulation of Jason Biggs as Jim, trying to get his nut off in the longest tube sock I have ever seen in my whole life. He's caught in the act by both his mother and father, played by Molly Cheek and Eugene Levy respectively, in what has to be the most awkward moment in his life, as we cold cut to a title card. Yes, I stole that from Dead Meat. No, I won't be giving it back anytime soon. As the names roll by in the opening credits, I get launched back to a simpler time when the names Allison Hannigan, Tara Reid, and Shannon Elizabeth actually meant something to an entire generation of teenage boys. Speaking of Reid, her character Vicky, upon hearing she was accepted into...
Cornell's not that far from U of M.
Cornell? Seriously? Truly a work of fiction. Anyways, she hits her boyfriend Kevin, played by Thomas Nicholas, with the 3 unexpected words that can make or break any high school relationship.
Shut up!
You got in.
Yes! I love you.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin really gave her a nice vintage vine
Okay.
in response. We're also introduced to Vicky's best friend, Jessica, played by a pre-prison and Groundhog Day Natasha Lyonne, and probably the dumbest band geeks I've seen put to film featuring Allison Hannigan as Michelle.
What we should do today in band, instead of playing our instruments regularly, we should play them backwards. That would be so funny.
Thank God this movie is 90 minutes, or I'd spend half this video just telling you who this fucking cast is. Now, to give a little credit to Vicky and Jessica, I do think they introduce an interesting conversation about 2 different perspectives when it comes to the concept of having sex for the first time. It can be daunting, and a really special moment for 2 people. It can also be equally casual and comfortable, and no big deal, so food for thought. Anyways, here's the most disgusting thing ever. Our leading lads roast each other at a diner before Jim asks his friends on some advice about non-penetrative sexual experiences.
What exactly does third base feel like?
You want to take this one?
Like warm apple pie. Yeah?
Yeah.
Apple pie, huh?
Uh-huh.
McDonald's or homemade?
Pay attention. That'll come back to haunt us later. We get a solid long shot of Stifler going through his house party before being introduced to someone somehow dorkier and more desperate than Jim.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Fellas, it's time she experienced the Shermanator.
Yeah, okay, Sherman.
Or, I spoke too soon.
That's great.
We catch up with one of the boys, Oz, trying to hook up with a postmodern feminist thought major. It goes about as well as you would expect, with a surprisingly insightful message about listening to women and being honest.
Suck me, beautiful.
What did you just say?
Suck me, beautiful. Jeez, you don't have to laugh at me.
Well, there's just some things you need to learn, that's all.
Like what?
Well, you've got to tone it down. You don't need to come to a place like Lookout Point and spout off cheeseball lines to be romantic.
Okay.
You have to pay attention to a girl. Be sensitive to her feelings. Relationships are reciprocal.
Followed by Kevin getting blown and busting in a beer, which leads to a recreation of Hitchcock's famous bomb under the table analogy, with none of the cleverness, but just as much blowing up. Or throwing up, as in Stifler's case. And here's your future Netflix Spike Spiegel calling Jennifer Coolidge a MILF.
Dude! That chick's a MILF.
What the hell's that?
M-I-L-F. Mom, I'd like to fuck.
Yeah, dude.
The next day, upon seeing the self-named Shermanator, allegedly, exhibit the sexual endurance of a goddamn lion, the boys make a pact to lose their virginity before they graduate in a valid and consensual manner, of course. Which, for all the shit I probably will give this franchise of a bunch of dudes trying to get laid, can't say they didn't specifically bring up consent. Kudos, writers. Kudos. So, each guy has their main objective, but they all have different routes. Jim has to learn to not be so awkward, Oz has to learn about sensitivity, Kevin has to patch things up with Vicky, and Finch really just has to find someone who can handle all of that. Kevin learns from the funniest actor among them that he has to give his girl an orgasm, a skill that is easy to learn but difficult to master. Oz joins the school choir to bag a high noter, which is honestly clever, and even drops a little nugget of feminist girl's wisdom.
Chick told me.
All that you gotta do is just ask them questions and listen to what they have to say and shit.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a lot of work.
I stand corrected. Eugene Levy may be the funniest actor among them. Apparently most of his lines in the movie were improvised, and I'm not even mad because they strike this beautiful balance of just funny and just awkward enough. And it's still fucking hilarious. Anyways, as we catch up with Finch and Kevin, we are introduced to the notorious Bible, a secret sex guide passed down through generations within the halls of East Great Falls High. And this will not be our last time seeing it within this franchise.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo-Bop. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doo-Bop. Yeah, magic.
What was that?
Great question, White America. What was that? I swear someone learns how to scat 2 lines and suddenly think they're fucking Miles Davis. But anyways, Oz starts to use what he learns and actually seems to have some solid chemistry with one of the choir chicks, Heather. No time for that, however. It's time for this movie to live up to some foreshadowing that not a soul asked for. Jim sticks his pasty white dick in a fresh apple pie. And no, I won't show you, because honestly, even if I censored it, not a soul alive deserved to be haunted with that image in any capacity. And what I can only describe as tonal boomeranging, we get Oz getting asked by the girl to prom, followed by Kevin showing off his newly learned tongue skills on Vicky.
I'm coming! I'm coming!
Nadia requests Jim's help with world history, but things don't seem so hot between Oz and Heather all of a sudden.
I asked you because I thought you might actually be worth going with. But you are just a jock. No, wait, you're a jerk.
Wait, I don't understand.
I saw you making fun of me with your lacrosse buddies.
Heather, I wasn't making fun of you.
Give me a break, you're so full of it.
This is the same Mena Suvari who got a SAG and BAFTA nom for American Beauty. Right? Anyways, Nadia meets with Jim, who sets up an unknowing webcam show on what's really good visuals and reception for a pre-2000s webcam. Then the pervert bolts out of his own home to watch it live from Kevin's house. Just to, reinforce the fucking weirdness. Now, I can't show any of what goes down, so I'll just play the reaction at the climax of the scene.
Oh my god.
Jackpot, baby.
I have an announcement that I would like to make. There is a gorgeous woman masturbating on my bed.
So yeah, it may be creepy that Jim set up a webcam to film a fellow student, a foreign exchange student at that, privately undressing in his bedroom, but it's equally as creepy that she went through his stuff and then masturbated on his bed. Someone who's essentially a stranger. And I'm under 1,000 subs, so I can't get demonetized. Everyone is in the wrong here. Jim kicks in the door, and then the movie turns into the strangest non-pornographic porn opening of all time, featuring Blink-182.
Shame on you.
Yeah, shame on me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna go.
Well, you have seen me. Now it's my turn to see you. Strip.
Strip?
Slowly.
You mean like strip? Strip?
For me.
Yes! All right. Get in the mix.
What ensues is Shannon Elizabeth being so hot that Jim proceeds to detonate prior to going into orbit.
Oh! Houston, we have a problem.
He blew it.
Timely. But somehow, in a stroke of what I can only describe as luck, he finesses the pussy in the second half with the aid of his dirty magazines. Very few men can say they pulled that one off.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
Then it happens again. Because you can't spell premature ejaculation without Jim. Go ahead. Take your time. I got a second. I don't have a watch, but I have time. Jim, being braver than any Marine, picks up the fragments of his broken spirit and manages to shuffle his way back to school the following day. There, he has a run-in with the most attractive, annoying person in 1999, who references one of my favorite of the American Pie spin-offs.
And one time, at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun. And this one time, we all lost our music, and we were supposed to play this song, but we didn't know it. So we just made it up, and we kept playing and playing, and the conductor didn't know what we were doing, and it was so funny.
We get a formal introduction to Michelle, finally, 40 minutes from the credits, and Jim, upon realizing she seems to be unaware of his world record for solo back-to-back orgasm, asks her to be his date to prom, which she excitedly accepts. Oz and Heather also seem to be picking things up again.
What am I gonna be, a professional lacrosse player? I mean, I really have no idea.
Thank God. I thought I was the only one.
Because they don't make any fucking money! I make more than they do! And things are peachy until Oz remembers that he has a big game the same day as the concert.
Heather, I'm sorry. I totally blew it.
It's okay. You should do what makes you happy.
All right. Listen, thanks for understanding.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll see you later.
Man, I just hate that passive-aggressive do what makes you happy shit. Oh my goodness. Speaking of shit, Finch's little lies that were spread around the school come back to finally bite him in the ass. Quite literally, thanks to Stifler's doing. So, Oz's at his game, but realizes in a stereotypical movie fashion that, yeah, he's grown kind of fond of the girl he's been hanging out with for like a month and a half, and decides to skip out on his last game as a senior to go be with her, and the two embrace in one cute little kiss. Vicky also has the revelation that she wants to have sex with Kevin after all, and everyone starts gearing up for prom. Except Finch. Although we do actually get a kind of touchingly awkward moment between Jim and his dad. So the prom goes off, and Kevin rounds up our boys to check in and see how they're doing. And Jim actually has a, once again, pretty good mini monologue about the pressures of sex on guys, especially in high school at that.
Huh? I don't have to do shit. You know, forget it already. I am so sick and tired of all this bullshit pressure. I mean, I've never even had sex, and already I can't stand it. I hate sex! And I'm not gonna stand around here busting my balls over something that, quite frankly, isn't that damn important. Now, I'm gonna go hang out with that geek over there, because at least she has something else to talk about besides sex. God damn.
Weirdly enough, he makes a good point. Sex will happen when it happens, so you should never feel too pressured to do it. If you don't feel ready, especially by your friends, move at your own pace and enjoy the people you may meet along the way. Heck, even Finch gets a moment of redemption by getting an impromptu date with Jessica. We also get a reveal of the truth behind what happened with the Shermanator.
Chuck Sherman is a liar. I never had sex with him. He's never had sex with anyone. I know this because he told me. Once he tried to screw a grapefruit, but that's all. Oh, he also told me that when he gets nervous, he sometimes wets his pants. Thank you for your time.
Man, you can say a lot about this, but you can't say that people don't get punished for lying in this movie. Anyways, Oz and Heather decide to start dating and have sex. Jim...
I get it.
Oh, and this one time, at band camp, I stuck a flute in my pussy.
actually sort of starts to bond with Michelle.
This'll do.
Woohoo! And has sex. Kevin and Vicky decide to try their hands at sex. And have sex. And Finch, well, he's a motherfucker if I've ever seen one.
Oh, Finchie.
Oh, Stifler's mom. Oh.
So, the movie ends on a pretty positive note. The boys get together and cheer towards the future. Also, Jim does one last private show just for Nadia.
Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking. Watching X-Files with no lights on. With all our maisons. I hope the smoky man's in this.
So how does the movie hold up after 20 years? Honestly, pretty good. The acting can be hit or miss, and the story is kind of your classic guys try to get laid before X time period plot, but there does seem to be some heart to it. It has its humorous moments, it has its dated moments, but I can say that even with a 90-minute runtime, its characters are unique. And to an extent, they have their own arc throughout the movie. Also, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that the movie has as many moments as it does of bringing things like consent, healthy-ish conversation between families about sex, taking away the mysticality of virginity, and even addressing how to just be respectful to people that you try to fuck. I think it's worth revisiting and enjoying with a couple of old friends, or even just doing it like a watch party since we're all supposed to be in quarantine. It has some sentimentality to it, and strangely enough, it did take me back to high school, which I haven't been to in like 7 years. Fuck, I'm old. Heck, it even kind of stands on its own. But given it had a $235 million gross against a budget of only $11 million, this surely would not be the last we see of the East Great Falls gang. For better or for worse. Next time we'll talk about American Pie 2, Sexual Pie-miscuity. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below if you've ever revisited American Pie recently. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more content. I will see you next time. Be good to yourselves. Peace.